video for you today. Top 50 healthiest foods. The food of the day is chickpeas, also known as Chi-Chi, which is also the nickname of my Chihuahua. Alright, so chickpeas are really, really great and they're healthy for you. I'm going to tell you some of the reasons. They're full of fiber, which is great for helping to lower your cholesterol. They also fill you up. Things that are high in fiber fill you up and make you feel full longer. So if you're on a diet, it's going to help you lose weight. They're a great source of protein. So if you're a vegetarian like me, it's a great source of protein. You don't have to worry about not eating meat because you're getting it from somewhere else. A big mistake that a lot of vegetarians make is they don't supplement their diet with enough protein and they just eat like vegetables. Like I've seen vegetarians use those portobello mushrooms as like burgers, and that's just not enough protein for getting a dinner amount of protein. So now this is something that's really interesting that I didn't know before. Chickpeas help your liver to get rid of sulfites. So if you eat a lot of dried fruits or you drink wine, especially red wine, there's sulfites in there, and that can like give you a headache and mess you up. So the chickpeas have a thing called molybdenum.
Molybdenum?
That's right. And that's what helps your liver to cleanse itself of the sulfites. So finally, well, I'm sure there's more than this, but I'm only mentioning these few. And I will put the link to this in the bottom bar. They have tryptophan in them. So that's going to help improve your mood, and it's going to help you get a good night's sleep as well. So the recipe that I'm doing today is for falafel. I love falafel. Whenever I go out to the Greek restaurant, I always get falafel with tzatziki sauce. And I have a pretty easy recipe for you guys today. I'm going to be doing it in my Ninja. You could do it in a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you could definitely do it in a bowl, but you're going to have to chop everything by yourself. So let's begin. Let me just go through the ingredients, because basically I'm just going to put everything in the food processor and chop it up. So I've got 1 can of chickpeas drained. I've got 1 small onion quartered because I'm going to put it in there and have it chopped up. Obviously, if you don't have a food processor, you're going to have to mince that as small as you can. 2 cloves of garlic, same thing. You're going to have to chop it up somehow if you don't have the food processor. I'm using a 1/3 of a cup about of the cilantro base, like the Goya cilantro ground up. Now for the spices. I've got 1 tablespoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, 1 teaspoon of cayenne, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, about a teaspoon of sea salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And the final ingredient is a splash of lemon juice. So I'm going to put all of these things in here. If you missed any of the ingredients, they're going to be in the bottom bar. I'm going to get this blended up and then I'll be right back. Alright, so there it is, looking amazing. Obviously, I've had to scrape down the sides of the blender a few times while I was doing it. I'd have to do that in the food processor as well because it's a relatively dry mixture. So it's going to climb up the sides a little bit. You're going to have to scrape it back down. I had to probably do that about 5 or 6 times. You want some pieces a little bit chunky. You don't want the whole thing smooth like baby food because it's not going to taste that good. You want a little texture in there. So I'm going to heat up some oil in my fry pan right now, and I'm going to get it good and hot, and then I'm going to start cooking. Alright, so the oil is good and hot, and I usually I hate doing this with my hands because I hate the feel of this on my hands, which is why I really hate to make meatballs. That's why I always use a cookie scoop. I just use a really slippery spatula. This is one of those ones from like the dollar store. And I just basically drop it into the oil like that. Wait till it gets brown on one side. Flip it over, brown the other side, and dry it on some paper towels. Alright guys, so we just had a little minor catastrophe, and I say minor because we're going to fix it. The recipe originally called for cilantro leaves, you know, fresh ones, chopped up, a whole cup of them. So I thought by putting in a half a cup, you know, third to a half a cup of the cilantro base, that would be basically about the same thing, but it's not really. So it made the mixture too wet. So when I started frying it, it literally just turned to like liquid. So I salvaged what I could, and I added chickpea flour, which is basically just ground up chickpeas. So that made it nice and thick. I put about 3 or 4 tablespoons of that in, you know, heaping tablespoons, and I'm gonna attempt to fry it again. Hopefully it'll be okay, but yeah, definitely use the fresh cilantro, but if you're going to use the base, be prepared to add something that's going to tighten it up a little bit, like the chickpea flour. You could probably add regular flour as well, or some breadcrumbs if that's all you have on hand. It's all about using what you have on hand, so sometimes you just have to adapt. Alright guys, there they are, all cooked up. I'm going to post the original recipe ingredients as well as my recipe ingredients. I'm kind of glad that this happened, because it's like things can go wrong even when you do follow the recipe. So a good chef knows how to fix what, you know, needs to be fixed. So I think it turned out pretty well. I just had a little taste. It's a little spicy, so I don't know how much you're going to want to taste, Kristen. Oh, you like spicy? Yeah. It's Daddy that doesn't like spicy. So, give it a taste. Let me know what you think. Yeah, this is falafel.
It's very good.
Yeah, you like that?
It's crumbly, but it's good.
Excellent. So there you have it. Kristen gives the seal of approval.
Tzatziki sauce.
Ah, yes, and I just bought some fresh tzatziki sauce. So you can have that for dinner if you don't want a fake hamburger. Excellent.
Yes,
so kids,
I do not want a fake hamburger.
All right. Till next time.
Much love.